Hello and welcome to the Brass Junkies. I'm your host, Andrew Hitz, and I'm joined today by Lance LaDuke. Lance, how are you?
I'm like a greeting card.
How are you like a greeting card?
I have like a pithy saying inside of me. I have a picture of me with a dachshund nestled in my lap right now. I don't know. All is right with the world, Andrew. I just feel happy.
As to quote my son Nicholas, he would say, "Oh, brother." So, and then he would look at his mother to make her laugh, and he would laugh because he's always saying that about me. So, speaking of which, Nicholas and I have started hosting a podcast which hasn't been released anywhere. It's called the Nicholas Daddy Podcast, and
nice.
Yeah, every day when he comes home from school, we come downstairs and we record 2 to 5 minutes. He tells me about his day. It's amazing. But the first episode, this kid I think he's gonna make it, Lance. I know he's only 5.5, but the first episode, he proceeded to fire me and to rename it the Nicholas Podcast.
Nice.
I was like, those are the. Yep, there you go. Yep,
that's pretty good.
And he calls it and he always announced it as the entrepreneurial musician, which is pretty cute because he can almost say that word. You know, it's like
which one?
It's like me. It's like me spelling it. I can almost spell it right the first time, but
let's see. N.
Yeah. Entrepreneurial. So today's guest is Chris Buckley.
He's a buddy.
Euphonium
really fun
player.
Talking to him.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, but he and I, a couple of years ago, we played a week's worth of kids concerts with the Baltimore Symphony together, where we did Mars from the planets. So he and I got to actually sit next to each other.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, for that week, and getting to like play Mars with the Baltimore Symphony. It was awesome. So yeah, and again, we performed that week like, I don't know, 7 times. He nailed the crap out of that Mars solo, like every time. It was like automatic, just boom. Yeah, all of it. Yeah, he's great.
As is happening more and more and more and more, I remember him as a student.
Right? That's really funny.
From Falcone and when he was studying with Brian Bowman and just all that stuff. And then hearing that he won the Army Band gig, and now he's probably been in there 40 years.
Yep, he has been in 40 years. He's actually a 3-star general now. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. He only still plays in the band just to remember his roots. So no, this was great. We talk a bunch about Mexican food. I'm going to his
a lot
house
of food.
to,
we must be hungry today.
Yep, I think you're right. So,
and how to program a recital. Actually, we talked some about. There was actual content delivered, which we try not to do that often, but there was some in this episode.
Yeah, I was trying to steer us away, but we just kept organically coming back. So, we talked about he helps to schedule the Army Tuba workshop, which I am appearing with Swamp Romp and the U.S. Army Blues, which is going to be an awful lot of fun. And this was a great talk.
Yeah, I liked it very much. Well, he's just a cool guy.
Yeah. Yep, he is. He's.
And we didn't mention it on air, which we should have. But the whole thing took place in his wife's quilting room. So we were looking at the quilting room the whole time, which we talked about before the interview, but didn't actually mention it. So just in your minds, picture him in a quilting room with bedhead.
With bedhead. He started the whole thing by saying, "You're lucky I'm wearing pants," because I told him that. I also told him that he didn't need to prepare at all. And then, of course, the first thing I did was bust on him for not preparing. So, because that's how I treat my friends. It's not fair, and it's only to amuse me, and occasionally I amuse them in the process. So, we remembered the spots again in the middle of the interview, which is pretty magical. And so we just need to tell you to go to patreon.com/thebrassjunkies if you'd like to hear bonus episodes with Pat Sheridan, who was 2 weeks ago, or with Chris, or with our next guest, Martin McCain, who is going to be in a couple of weeks. We do a bonus episode with every single guest, and you can get instant access to all of those if you become a patron of the show. And there's a ton of bonus content.
Yeah. There's like 50. I'm trying to do the math in my head. I just looked. We started doing the bonus episodes in 2017, so it's been a little over 2 years. So there's over 50 bonus episodes for all of the guests that we've had on in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's great. Yep. So yeah, there's a lot, and then we've also got like other podcasts that we do monthly that Lance and I do, and behind the scenes reports, and you get to kind of see how the sausage was made and all that. So go check it out. We would love to you join the well over 100 people now who are already Patreon patrons.
Well, and the other thing that we are trying to do more often, we have another one coming up that will have happened by the time you hear this, is a hangout with Patreon patrons only. So this will be our second one. It's coming up in just a week or so.
Yep.
So that's a fun thing that we started this fall and hope to do more of. And it was just a blast. We had, a dozen or so people on there and just cracked wise and told stories.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. I think without further ado, let us get to the conversation that we had with Euphonium player Chris Buckley. Today on the Brass Junkies, we are joined by a Euphonium player. I am actually...
I know, man. I'm on every episode. Why is it like... This is not news.
I'm outnumbered by Euphonium players, which is kind of crazy.
Another one.
Yes, another one. His name is Chris Buckley. Chris, how are you today?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. So, yeah, mostly I do play Euphonium. Yes.
Do you?
My job.
Do you? I love pantomime. Can you give me any background on it? I'm just kidding. If I hear that at one more recital, I'm going to lose my mind and my soul's going to die. Yeah, and it's nothing personal about the fine composer of pantomime, but it's I just have heard it so many times that put it this way. I do not have any interest in hearing you or Demandre or David Childs or even Lance if he becomes unretired. Play that piece of music. So
unretired.
Yeah. He doesn't. He is not currently in possession of his trombone. So there's that. So,
small blessings.
Yeah, it is all about small blessings. So I'm trying to decide, Chris. Should I tell Lance that he's muted, or should I not tell him that he's muted?
We can wait a while.
I had a technological... Yeah. You missed a whole bunch of drama over here. There was like a lot of... a thing came unplugged, and then it was coming through the computer, and I was going to spare you all of that nonsense and pretend that all was well, but here we are.
We were going to get you going. We were going to mess with you.
Yeah, right? I do know that Lance is not currently in possession of his trombone. He loaned it to not even a student, a former student. So,
True.
Yeah, Lance, are you currently in possession of your euphonium?
I am, and I do actually have. There's still, that's the thing about trombones versus euphoniums. They tend to accumulate in ways that euphoniums don't. I have a euphonium.
That's so true.
And I have. There's still currently 3 trombones in the house. And it's just that it's like, and my son has 2 with him. Yeah, there's trombones everywhere. I don't know how that happens, but it happens.
That's so true. I have like 7 trombones and 3 youths, and I just sold a trombone. So
yeah,
that's absolutely true.
Yeah, I actually have to play a couple recitals in the spring, which is like blowing my mind. I have to decide what is
mine too.
Playing.
I can't believe it.
Well, how often are you playing? Here, you can help. This will be therapy for me. How often are you playing recitals anymore?
Oh, recitals.
Yeah,
maybe once every 2 years, 1 year. If I'm lucky enough to do a regional iTech, I'll get a program together, do a recital.
And so, how do you decide what you're going to put on a recital?
I just look at what I'm playing now or what I haven't played. I mean, just like a regular recital. I just say, I'm working on this. I have this solo coming up. Or I got this piece that I've never played before. I'd like to try it. Sometimes it just depends on the time. If I just have a week or two, then I might just throw standards, things that I can just play.
Do you what kind of a mix do you look for when you put a recital together? I mean, when you're in school, they make you like fit these stupid boxes, which is asinine and uncreative.
Boxes.
It's funny you say that because I love programming, and I really like thinking about the recital or a concert and thinking about how the audience digests the music. So I think of a good opener, something not too long, and then maybe the second piece will be the weird one or the long one. I'll definitely have a beautiful lyrical song on there, and then a closer. Those are kind of the boxes I check. Lyrical, opener, closer. It depends on if it's a 25-minute or 60-minute recital.
Right. How often are you playing transcriptions versus original stuff? What percentage of it is transcriptions and what percentage is original stuff?
Man, I don't know.
Come on, I told you to prepare for hard-hitting questions, Chris.
No, you told me to not be prepared. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, that was your parent.
Just for the record, I sent him the full list of questions we were going to ask him today. I gave him a month and a half to prepare, and so he's just like aggressively being lazy if he's not ready with answers.
Let me ask the question a different way. Do you care? Do you? Not
all
just nuts.
It's like a regular day of work.
How important do you consider? How important do you consider it to play either transcriptions or original works, or you just play tunes you dig?
I just play tunes I dig. I don't really focus on it. Maybe depending on the venue. If I'm going to play for Euphonium players, I might play some more original works for Euphonium. If I'm going to play at a church, then I might do more transcriptions and some easily digestible pieces for the audience. I like one thing. I've never played Jambox concert variations, which is a pretty cool standard 15 to 18 minute piece for Euphonium, but I've never played it because my wife hates it.
Really?
And she always says it's really boring. So I never put it on a program, and I thought, well, one day I'm going to play just for Euphonium players, and I'll play it.
Make sure she's not there.
Yes. Yeah.
She's a Euphonium player, right?
She won't be.
She won't.
She was. Yeah.
She was.
Yeah. You guys should have her on here. She went to North Texas, and she played Euphonium, and then she got out of it. She didn't want to practice. She didn't want to teach, so she changed majors.
So what repertoire is on her approved list?
Pantomime by Philip Spark, for sure. No, like, I don't know. I just kind of let her know what I'm playing. She doesn't really come to my concerts or recitals.
That's the reality of it. I mean, that kind of just happens.
Yeah, or if I travel somewhere, she's not there. So, she definitely prefers my Euphonium playing to my bass trombone playing. I remember warming up and practicing on bass trombone for a while, and she was like, "Are you gonna play that all the time? Are you gonna blast like that? Like, do I have to hear that in the house all the time?" I was like, "No, I gotta warm up."
Everything past fourth position is just a little sharp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have much shorter bass trombone warm-ups than I do Euphonium warm-ups. So
it's like preparing for an interview. You don't want to like waste it. Like, no, man, just go in.
Yeah,
just do the thing.
Well, it depends on where I am. Yeah.
Lance, how do you approach programming? I'll turn this around on you. What transcriptions?
I do
versus
the something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue theory.
Nice.
And so then it might be that it's a transcription for the old thing, maybe, probably, but it could be that it's just a warhorse of the repertoire. And then something new, ideally something that people don't know. I don't like playing anything that Euphonium players normally play. He
doesn't like playing anything where people will have expectations.
No, I get that.
It's more about
new stuff.
I'm just.
I don't want to do anything that anybody else can do.
Sure.
Like it's just
I'm the same way.
I can't. can't figure out why I would. I mean, what in the world do I have to say about pantomime? Now we're making fun of pantomime so much. Like, God knows I've made plenty of money off of pantomime because people pay me to come play that tune, and I'm happy to. And it does everything you need a 6.5 minute showpiece to do. So fantastic.
No, it's great.
And I teach it, and
for what it is great. And what it is not a bad thing either. It's oversaturation for me, but it's great.
I really struggle. I really, really struggle trying to figure out stuff to do. I mean, it was kind of, because I don't want to do the normal stuff because anybody can do the normal stuff, and there's 5 recordings of most of that repertoire. So what is stuff that nobody's playing that they should be playing? Right. So for a while, like when I went to the IET which was actually the first time I went. Thank you, Ambassador.
I was there with you.
That's true. Yeah, I played a whole.
Of your warm-up.
I did. It's true. I played a bunch of cello and bassoon music. Like I did a whole unaccompanied recital, and it was these Mignonne bassoon waltzes. This Brazilian composer.
Mignonne.
You didn't make that word up. Mignonne.
No, I didn't.
The Minions.
That's right. And then this piece called Orbit by Philip Glass for cello, for solo cello. And what else was on there? Oh, I did the Falcone mazurka, and it was kind of funny because I didn't realize it was one of the contest pieces for the participants. And I guess all of the judges. Were you one of the judges?
No.
One of the judges was like yelling at all of the students because they were playing it too fast. Because the marked tempo is like pretty slow, and I hated it at that speed. So then I just went there and like blew through this thing, and I was like, "Hey, sorry, I'm going against what all the judges said, but here's how I."
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't me. I got there later in the week.
Yeah, and I would rather not play with piano because that's also a thing that happens all the time. And I have nothing against pianists, and I like saying the word pianist, but it's just like that's a normal thing to do. Like I would much rather play. Matt Murchison's written this piece that's for. The scoring is for 2 violins, cello, and percussion. And I'm hoping to play it with the contemporary ensemble at Carnegie Mellon this spring. It's not clear if it'll be on the program this spring or next season, but like that's more interesting to me. And when I recorded stuff 8,000 years ago, I didn't want to do anything that anybody else could do. I wanted to. I mean, what are we doing otherwise? We're getting me all soapboxed up. My second cup of coffee is hitting. But if all we do is the same stuff that everybody else does, how do we expect to reach a different audience? And just because we've commissioned some big-name composer to write some piece that's like even harder and even more technical and goes even higher and even lower, like, okay, I mean, great. And I'm glad that we have the pieces that we have, but we also need, look, I like pizza. But I also like other food.
Look, I like pizza.
It's like, it seems like I've been on this soapbox before. It just, we're not doing ourselves any favors if all we do is this same inward looking stuff that's trying to justify how fast we can play, how quickly we can articulate, how high we can play. It just drives me nuts. So put it in
I look for the opposite. I look, how slow can I articulate? How mid-range? How many few notes I can play?
You should.
I write those myself.
Switch to tuba, man.
Yeah.
even those of us who pay our mortgage by playing, it still sounds like we're being kidnapped in a closed trunk. I mean, it's like
that's one of the really cool at the Army band. Like I get to hear. We do the Euphonium workshop and we do the trombone workshop. So I get to hear all this low brass music. And I always think like, man, a lot of tuba music sounds similar. It has the same intervals, maybe, the same, just kind of same licks. A lot of trombone music has 8th notes, no 16th notes, or it just sounds very similar. A lot of open 5th notes and chords, and they make fun of euphonium players all the time, no matter what I play. I mean, that's the shocker that anybody would do that. But they a lot of times they say our euphonium music is just like they say that's all we sound like, and they wiggle their fingers, and I think, is that what I sound like? I was like, I'm like, maybe there's something wrong with them. Like they can't hear, what we're playing.
It's the Bobo line, right? Faster than hell or Danny Boy.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, we do all sorts of different music, and like you're talking about the different programs. I don't play a whole lot of new or weird music, and I do like to do a standard here and there, especially if I'm working on it with a bunch of my students. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, this is a great piece. Like I love the more so symphonique, that's a trombone piece, but I think it sounds awesome on Euphonium. I might program it. That's a nice, quick 5-minute opener.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So
the Donald White Lyric Suite is awesome, and I teach it, and I have my students play it all. I mean, there's tons of repertoire that they ought to know, and I don't mean to say that we shouldn't teach it and that it shouldn't be played, but it shouldn't exclusively be played. Like it shouldn't be there's a whole universe of music, and we tend to play this one type of thing at our peril, I think.
Yeah, the definition of remarkable is worth remarking about, and if everybody is playing the same kind of music in the same general way, then I don't care how well you play it, it's not remarkable. So, which is fine, but then you can't be baffled why people aren't remarking about it.
So here's a weird example, because that's all I have. There's a guy named Zach Condon who is he's the band Beirut is this guy Zach Condon. I don't know if you're familiar with this. It's a rock, like a pop band, singer-songwriter, whatever you want to call it. And he happens to play euphonium or baritone or whatever. And so it ends up in tracks on this guy's albums just because that's one of the ways that he makes music. And by Army Band tuba euphonium workshop standards, nobody would mistake him for a professional euphonium player, except he's figured out a way to bring the instrument into the mainstream in ways that our colleagues have been talking about doing for decades. So it's like, go to where people are.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, and I don't mean exclusively, but some of us need to do that.
Right.
Otherwise, it becomes this closed. We're siloing ourselves.
How about put it this way? If 95% of us who are professionals are not even spending like 10% of the music we program doing that, then that's kind of a weird homogenous phenomenon that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
get off my yard.
I try to program stuff that I think that I have something to say with it. You know, like when I was in high school, I got the John Williams Concerto, and my goal was to play that like before I graduated from undergrad. And then I bought it and I started working on it, and then I realized that that this is just for me, that I'm a super fan of John Williams. I don't like that piece. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't really, my favorite aspects of John Williams are not there in that piece for me. Yeah. And that it's really hard, and I don't think that I could play it as well as Aaron Tyndall does, but I could totally play it 95% as well as he did if I worked really hard over a prolonged period of time, and I could play the crap out of it and get people stomping their feet and clapping afterwards. But why? That's the thing. Is like the world is not exactly like missing. There's not a hole in the world like that. Man, we just need somebody who can play this 95% as well as Aaron Tyndall can. It's like it's like okay, I'm your man then. And the only other thing that I try and do when I'm programming is I try not to have all dead white guys. So which is like that's just something that I try, and I don't play recitals enough, and I've got some in the spring as well. I don't always spend enough time early enough to investigate to make it creative, so I do fall back on some standards. But I just try not to do that because there's so much amazing music that's not written by white dudes who are dead. I wouldn't put a worse product out there just in the name of diversity, but I think it's that ship is not going to right itself, in my opinion. That's just me, and I get to program my own music, so that's what I do. So
yeah. It just depends on the venue, depends on what's going on in your life.
Yes.
Everything you got going on. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's great to have a theme, and sometimes it's like, I just feel like playing this.
Yep.
I got the time for it. Or like Lance brought up playing unaccompanied music. You never know what kind of accompanist you're going to get.
That's the other thing too.
Yep.
And they could be great, and you're just not going to get any rehearsal time. I mean,
right.
But, yeah, it's just a variable I can take out of the mix.
Which is pretty standard for tuba euphonium recitals or ITEX. You know, you'll get one rehearsal and then do the gig, and so you need things that you can put together quickly and hope. You never know the level of your accompanist. So I'll do that too.
I do program with piano, but I usually only program like one or two pieces of the whole recital with piano. So pianists tend to really like me because that also means that we can take that rehearsal and actually rehearse the tunes and not have to be banging out an hour worth of stuff. And for me, I think it's an uphill battle to have just tuba sounds for an hour or just euphonium sounds for an hour.
People ask you to play for an hour? A whole hour?
This is not going to shock anyone in the audience, but I talk for 40 of those minutes, so it's it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to tell you a story, which in the middle is going to remind you of this other story, and then I'm going to introduce the piece, which is going to remind me of this other story, and then I'm going to play.
I'm sorry, we're all out of time, everybody.
Exactly.
I'm going to have to cut it short.
Let's just consider that last story my encore. Thank you for coming. So I want to I'm going to read the Parker Mouthpieces spot here, and then I want to talk to you about the Army Workshop, because you're the guy that I also find it fascinating that there is no trumpet workshop. Is that because they don't want to like outwardly admit that there's anything left to work on? They're just kind of like, we've got this. But anyway,
there's a genesis to how the Army Workshop was created, and trumpets have two every year. They have like a competitive one that's just competitions, and then their hangout trumpet guild one. So we don't have those.
I have many times referred to the National Trumpet Competition is the most intellectually honestly named conference of not just like brass, but of any musical group of people. So it's just like before we even get there, I want everyone to know we are competing. Like, I like it.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, it's like state championships at track and field. You don't just go and like run near each other. It's like, show up at 11. I'm going to be faster than you. I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of competitions, Parker Mouthpieces provides the hosting for the Brass Junkies. Parker Mouthpieces offers fine customizable component mouthpieces for horn, trombone, euphonium, and tuba, including the Andrew Hitz Artist Model Tuba mouthpiece and the Lance LaDuke Model Euphonium mouthpiece.
Whatever.
Oh, you guys! Wow.
You can find.
Are you
out,
telling me this?
You can find.
Is he telling you, Lance?
You can.
No, we're telling. This was for you. We're talking to you, Chris.
You can.
Oh, yeah. Are you trying to get me to switch?
Chris Buckley can find out more at parkermouthpieces.com, or he can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
I might have to check it out now.
And I'm amazed that that this dude was able to win the Falcone competition, which was 10 years ago because he's getting old. But he was able to win that not on a Parker mouthpiece. I mean, that's like,
what?
Right?
No.
I mean, that's like I'm going to compete in swimming in the Olympics, but with ankle weights on. It's like, it's.
I don't think they were Parker mouthpieces around 10 years ago.
Don't make excuses.
They've
You
always
sound
been
like
around.
a college student.
They're completely
okay.
They're perfectly round.
Yeah. We have less choices on euphonium, so thanks for bringing that up randomly, Lance.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy. Whatever your name is.
I prefer the occasional spam email to my Shenandoah email address refers to me as Dr. Hitz. So I do.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I got a good one recently. I got one, Dr. Duke.
Double D.
And I wrote back, and I usually just put my first name in there, but I put my full name in there, just kind of like as a hint. And then they wrote back, "Thank you so much, Dr. Duke, for your." All right, cool.
That's
maybe
awesome.
my new stage name.
Is your full name Lancelot LaDuke?
Yeah, yes, that's it. Lancelot. LaDuke. That's it. That's why it's all the laws in my email.
Sir Lance. La 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 la.
Sir, yes.
That's it. Sir.
Yep.
Yep.
So Dr. Buckley, are you? You're not a doctor, are you?
Technically, I am. Yeah.
See?
You are. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I would have been much more deferential over the first 23 minutes of this and throughout the duration of our friendship if I had
I doubt it.
If I had known that. Yeah. In my defense, when we met each other, he did not say like, "Hi, my name is Dr. Buckley."
No,
like,
I never do that.
When did you get your doctorate and where?
I got it a place called the University of North Texas.
Okay.
It's a pretty good school for euphonium.
Wait, did you do your master's there too?
I did get my master's, and my master's and doctorate are in euphonium performance. And you can look up my dissertation. It's how to play jazzy euphonium solos, jazzy and not too square. But it was a performance guide for Pearls 1 and Pearls 2. I got my doctorate in 2010. I graduated, and then a week later got married, and then 3 months later had my audition for the Army band. So all in one summer, a bunch of life changes. So.
Wow. There you go, man.
Yeah.
That's like the express package.
Yeah.
I don't like my life right now. I'm going to change all of it.
Everything. Yeah. I'm out of college. I'm married, and I have a new job coming up.
There you go.
It's actually called A Performance Guide for Pearls 1 and Pearls 2 by Roland Z. Polly, Christopher Buckley, BM, MM.
BM is important.
Emphasis on the BM.
That's
an education. Music education.
So hold on, Lance. Do you have the copy there of it?
I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's. I'm going to choose a page number. Can you go to page? Go to page 47.
Yep, 47. There's 51.
Okay.
Pages.
And then go to the third paragraph and read the third paragraph.
47.
Oh, this is fun.
I wonder if that's going to be in the.
Oh, all right, how about 27? Only 50 pages, man. You mailed it in.
Yeah.
Here's the 47th page. There's a lot of musical examples on here. Let's just say some of the not too many words.
Guide.
I'm just saying.
No.
Does Roland know that all you did was reprint his piece without permission, and that was your whole dissertation?
All right,
yes,
here
I
you
got
go.
his permission. Yes.
So, Andrew, here, I'm going to read you all of the text that's on page 47.
Oh, this is going to be good. I love dissertations. They're awesome.
No.
Example 68, period. M period 50, period. Extended technique, rip, period. And then there's an
Wait, did you say extended colon?
Extended technique,
Extended
rip.
Technique. Mm-hmm.
And then rip, period. And write your own jokes here. Then common problems that may occur are, again, the difficulty of the high range in measures 24, 50, and 57, period. Performers may have to play these measures down an octave if these notes are not within their range. Example 69, period. M period, 24, period. Extreme high range, period. Then there's a thing. Example 70, period. M period, 50, period. Extended technique, rip, period. Example 71, period. MM, period. 56 and 57, period. Extreme high range, period. That ends the text for page 47.
We have to do this. Awesome. We should only interview doctors from now on, and we have to just randomly...
That's awesome.
At the Virginia Music Educator Conference, Tim Robley, who's the director of bands at Shenandoah, one of my dear friends, he was talking about his dissertation, and I asked him what it was about, and he was like, "You don't want to know?" And I was like, "Oh no, Tim, I do want to know." This was like a big 2-hour dinner at the homestead, and anyway, I looked it up, and then I just somebody chose a page number, and then I did a dramatic reading of like a paragraph in the middle of it, which was all the sentences were 35 words long, and they were all like correct, like grammatically, but they just go. It's like every sentence is a novella, it's good stuff, man.
Andrew, do you want to hear the conclusion?
I would love to hear the conclusion.
No.
This performance guide.
This is awesome.
This performance
God.
guide for Pearls and Pearls 2 will allow performers to better understand the jazz style and provide them with a resource for performing these particular pieces as well as other jazz-influenced pieces. This performance guide is specific to euphonium repertoire and for euphonium performers and educators. This also provides a resource for a solo work in the repertoire that is performed regularly as well as a new work that will soon be published. It is also intended that this dissertation will influence others to study jazz and pursue other opportunities for euphonium mediums. I personally believe that this and other pieces like it will be sent on a craft to the moon for future generations to study and find out more about the human race, its contributions to the art, and a good alternate fingering for a high F sharp.
That sounds like what I wrote. Yeah, it's been so long.
I'm guessing that this
academic writing.
This bit is feeling as long as your doctoral studies did. I'm guessing. So, all right,
pretty good, man.
It is for the audience.
And you're welcome, audience. This link to this will be in the show notes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
They're gonna, man.
More text.
The algorithm's gonna be like
pages.
The algorithm's gonna be weirded out. Like, why were there 7 clicks on a euphonium dissertation last week? Okay, so
there's so many of them out there.
The Army Workshop. Tell us. I'm guessing most of our audience knows about it, but tell us real quick what it is, and then about what your role within it.
Awesome, thanks. So we have the United States Army Band. We have.
Don't mention it.
TBJ Euphonium Workshop, and we hold it every year, and it's awesome because it's just 3.5 days. So it's like a mini iTech, and we work really hard on it all year long. This year it's from February 5th through 8th, and we have large ensembles, we have solos, recitals, lectures, master classes. We have jazz artists that come play, or just people like Andy Hitz that come play with the jazz groups. And then we have soloists play with the orchestra and soloists that play with the band, the concert band. And my role is I bring in artists to play with the jazz band, the Army Blues, and I also run the mock euphonium audition. That's mostly my two duties, but I also just help out, produce some recitals and help out the chairs as much as I can.
Many people mock euphonium auditions.
I was going to say, like, do you mock the people during it? That would actually be funny.
Yes. When I first won one, my college band director said, "Congratulations on being a mock euphonium player." So I was like, "Yeah, thanks." Yeah.
I'm guessing you weren't a doctor yet, or they wouldn't have been talking to you that way.
No, that was my undergrad. Was it? Yeah.
Where did you do your undergrad?
A little school called West Texas A&M University. It's in Canyon, Texas, and it was great. I got an education degree, and I played in every single ensemble I could, and I loved it.
Great.
So, and Jared, yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, I'm playing with Swamp Romp and a tune with the Army Blues at this year's workshop, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. Swamp Romp is kind of like a small New Orleans like funk band, rhythm section, and a couple horns. And I'm really excited. Andy's gonna come play. Are you gonna play sousaphone or?
Nope, tuba.
No, yeah. I didn't even know which horn you were gonna bring.
Yeah, I don't play B flat so much. Like, all of my improv is connected. Like, just the muscle memory and all that is connected to C. So, and since I live in a townhouse, if I just like bring a sousaphone home, my wife is going to be like, what is wrong with you?
But I can lend you one if you need.
Oh no, I could get one from Jupiter fast, but I've got awesome. I've got a lot of tubas here. So
get room from where? From Jupiter?
Yeah. Yes.
Last time the Swamp Round played, we had Tom Holtz, and he did an arrangement of Tom Sawyer by Rush. Yep. And it's really awesome. It's been viewed a lot on YouTube. That was really fun. And Pat Sheridan came out and just played one song with him. That was a lot of fun, too.
I was at that one.
I'm excited.
I made it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited that you're coming back to do some more Swamp Round tunes. So
yeah, it's going to be
always
be fun.
A blast. And then after you, Joe Dollard is going to play some straight ahead jazz stuff, and then you guys will come out and do a blues together. So, yeah, I'm excited about it.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be really fun. So you grew up way down in Texas, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my mom's house is a mile from the Mexican border.
Okay.
I grew up in Laredo, Texas. And I have a big family. I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers.
Wow.
So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And everybody still lives in Laredo. They all live down there, and I'm the only one that lives outside up in D.C. So
that makes it easy to visit people.
So, yeah. I don't get down there too much because it's pretty expensive.
Right.
And maybe if I go to TMEA or something in San Antonio, then I'll work something out that I go see them. I'm actually going to go in April for spring break, so that's really exciting. My kids get to meet my brother and sister's kids and hang out with them, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, the best part, if you ever make it down there, is the food, of course.
That's what I was just going to ask you about.
Yeah, because it's like regional, like pizza and in New York and pizza in Chicago is different, and same thing with Mexican food. The food in Laredo is very different than even in San Antonio. Like the food is different, just 2 hours north of that. So I'm very excited about going back for that.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite food? Like, what's your favorite dish or dishes?
Man, this is very Texan Mexican Hispanic of me, but there's just like the meat and the smoked meat and the fajita and everything. If the best fajita in DC is at my house. If you ever come to my house, like after Easter or something, and I usually try to get like a half pound of fajita per person, So yeah. So I'll call you next Easter.
Yeah, man.
See what we do.
You should do that. I'll be in a good mood too.
You want to come up, Lance?
I don't eat meat, but I'll come and share my half pound of meat with Andrew. He can have my half pound.
All right.
I got a pound of me as long as somebody can wheel me home.
I found a Mexican market here in Alexandria, Virginia, and I can go to the store and that day buy giant fresh avocados, so I can make really good guacamole like that night. So yeah.
You know what that reminds me of is the Mary Papert School of Music at Duquesne University.
They're famous for their fajitas.
When I think smoked meat and fajitas, I think about the wonderful faculty members and performance opportunities in the Mary Papert School. So if you're interested and or hungry, and you would like to find out more about those things, you can click on the link in the show notes below to be taken to a page created specifically for listeners of the Brass Junkies and Christopher Buckley.
I was going to say, I think I'm done with school.
Oh, you are?
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, well, you can go. No, if you're hungry, you go. And while you're there, make sure you stop by and thank Jim. I'd like extra beans with that Nova for making this possible.
Sounds good.
I think the last one, by the way, Lance, was my favorite one. Was Pat Sheridan with and it was Jim. Uncomfortable pause Nova. Oh, that was pretty good. So, what's the name of this market in Arlington?
Oh, it's just like a little. It's Rico's. It's like Rico's supermarket. It's just like a little hole in the wall.
Right.
You walk in, and the aisles are about 2 feet from each other, and it's very crowded, and just Mexican cookies and products and candles and all sorts of things all in the same aisle. So
wow.
So it's really nice. Yeah. So it's like a touch of home in there. And I go in there and I ask for meat, and they cut it perfectly, like just exactly how I'm going to grill it. So I love having, if I had $1 million, I would feed everybody. I love cooking for all the euphonium players and their kids. And that's one thing it's crazy. At just the Army band alone, there are 6 euphonium players, and we all went to the University of North Texas. And I went to college with all of them. So like our kids have grown up together, and we actually do like each other and get along. And
except for Bill.
Yeah, no, but I'll have them over sometimes I'll try to, invite the Euphonium players, or just whenever I can, wherever I can afford to feed everybody,
Right.
So,
yeah, man, a half pound a person is like, that starts to add up.
Yeah.
That's why you do it on Easter, because you probably just made some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tradition since my undergrad, that everyone would go do their Easter gigs, and then we'd all get together and cook out. So it's like, okay, if I make an extra $100, I can spend that $100 on meat and feed everybody. So yeah, it's a tradition since college. Everyone go do your gig and then come over to my house after.
I don't want to speak badly of him because he's not here, but Hiram Diaz has an Easter gig every year, because I contract him, and he's never offered to cook me any meat. Yeah, he just takes his check and he goes home.
He comes to my house. Oh. That's why. So I will speak badly of him for you. But, yeah, Hiram. So funny thing, Hiram and his wife lived with my wife for a year North Texas.
No kidding.
So I was over there at their house all the time. Our wives are best friends. Huh. Everybody would confuse us at North Texas because we're tall and dark. And
you were the two dudes who don't look like Lance and I.
No, yeah, but so I've known Hiram and his kids, and just on this past Sunday, he dropped his kids off at my house, and him and his wife she was out of town. Oh, I lost the video for a second.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you.
It's a value add.
All right. So, as long as I can hear you. But Hiram dropped his kids off at my house. And same thing, a few weeks ago, I was busy all weekend. My wife was busy, so we dropped our kids off at their house, and they watched them for the weekend.
There you go.
So yeah, so we're pretty close. And he comes over on Easter, usually.
There you go.
You're welcome to come, Andy.
That's there you go.
Not Lance.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Lance, I just thought of an idea. We should make this. We should make this podcast video only, but our Patreon patrons can get an audio feed, so they don't have to look at us. That's funny. For just a few bucks, then you can get rid of the audio. So, yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I can hear you, but I can't see you for some reason.
Yeah, your video feed dropped out, but that's all right. That's the audience doesn't care. We can hear you. We can hear you just fine. So.
Okay.
You care too much, man. That was obvious in that dissertation how much you care. So colon rip exclamation point or whatever it was.
Extended technique.
Yeah.
That's it.
I would highly recommend to anybody in the audience, just if someone's a doctor, just pull up their dissertation online and just start reading. Just right in the middle. So, because
that was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So,
the euphonium is not a standard instrument in the jazz band or jazz combo instrumentation. Therefore, its repertoire did not expand in the jazz medium, as did the saxophone, trumpet, and trombone literature.
Yeah.
See, Lance, I could not have said that better myself.
I know, right?
I know, yeah. So, Chris, I think that you are familiar with our dear friend Jens Lindemann.
Yes.
He's been going through some chop problems now for we're coming up on 6 years now, I think. So it'll be 6 years in the spring. And I
wonder if it's a Canadian thing.
Yeah,
do all Canadians have these problems? I don't know him personally, but
lucky.
Last time I was at Midwest last year. And some friends of mine are saying, "Oh, where are you? Let's meet up and hang out." And they sent me a picture of them with Jens. And then I was like, "Well, he can come too."
They were in prison.
If yeah. And it was like the Canadian Midwest hangout. I don't know what it was, but
so what advice do you have? What advice do you have for Jens in this desperate time of need?
Well, what I really think is Jens should seek out a specialist like Kevin Gibo.
Oh.
I think Kevin Gibo could really do some work with Jens and help him out.
What kind of work?
I don't know, like some carpentry, some other second careers.
Get Victor Barranco on the phone.
Yes, Victor.
Build a table.
Yep, Victor is really good at that. He's leaving the Army Blues to do that full time. Did you guys know that?
Kidding, I didn't know.
Yeah.
When's he leaving?
His business is taking off. Pretty soon. We have an audition for a lead blues trombone, January 16th, my birthday.
Wow.
And Victor is gonna like take his business and pack up and move to Houston. So
dang.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's doing well with that, and his kids. So he's doing real well with that.
There you go.
Yeah. And yeah.
Breaking news.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah, there you go. We've never had breaking news during the yen segment before. So
true. Good point.
He does not. Victor does not have chop issues, and he sounds amazing. And so maybe he could help out Jens also. But you know, I'll tell you one thing. I'm on the auditions team at the U.S. Army Band, and we always have. It seems like every year we have a trumpet audition or several trumpet openings. That's one thing. If you check out usarmyband.com, not .org, then you can see all the vacancies we have, and we're about to have a tuba opening too. So maybe Jens could apply. He'll be denied immediately, but he could at least apply. And
that dual Canadian-German citizenship thing might get in the way.
Yeah. Well,
and the fact that he's 60
and his personality.
Some chops involved. Well, yeah, there's so many issues. But yeah, we definitely have lots of vacancies that maybe that would help you. Like if he had something to work towards.
He needs to have
he had a goal.
Jibo build him a deck, and then Victor build him a table, and then he needs to join the army.
That's a really good idea. It's a brainstorm right here.
That's pretty out, man. There you go. That's that kind of creativity.
Start a new business.
What? Mm-hmm. As a consultant,
it'll be a new business.
Yeah, I was just working with a music business consulting client this past week, and I said, who's also a patron of the Brass Junkies as well, and she asked me a question, and I ended up answering by asking her like 8 questions, and I then said, hey, have you ever noticed when you ask me questions, I never answer them. All I do is ask you 8 questions, and she said, Now that you mention it, yeah. I was like, but please pay me my money. Here's more questions than you came on the phone with. So congratulations. So you are allegedly closer to attaining your goals now. So, well, there you maybe Jens needs a consultant.
Pray for Jens, woodworking and Hobbit novelties. I think that would be really good. I just wanted to tie Kevin Jibo into it so he's not out of it.
Wait, did you just call Jibo a hobbit?
No, that's never happened. I love Jibo. It is Jibo.
I heard it.
Jibo.
I heard it too. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's I would never call him something that I don't say to his face. So that's definitely
that's still leaving you a pretty big hoop to jump through.
Yeah. So sometimes he's a halfling, sometimes he's a hobbit. Usually a hobbit. 11sies. He's got a lot going on. If Jens did some 11sies with Kevin Jibo, I think that would really help him out.
There we go. So. I like it, man. If
you were going to write another dissertation, that's probably the one.
This is great, man. His Jens advice incorporated breaking news. There were other victims that got taken down in the process. This one, that was long-winded, to the point where I'm inspired. So, yeah, there you go.
That's a doctor speaking.
That is a doctor speaking. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Well, we are going to have you stick around here for the bonus episode, which is available to Patreon patrons. If you go to patreon.com/thebrassjunkies, then you can hear more from Chris. You can hear more from Well, a whole lot of guests. Every single guest ever since we started doing this bonus episode thing. They're all available instantly if you sign up to become a Patreon patron. So go ahead and do that at patreon.com. And Chris, this was inspiring. This was this was moving. It was motivating. It was
sweaty.
It was a little sweaty. I'm glad you were wearing pants. And I'm pissed at Hiram now. Which is good timing because I have rehearsal for him for our Christmas Eve gig with him in 8 hours. So I'm going to
awesome.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
so I'm going to get to unload on him in person. So which is great.
Oh my.
Yeah, it'll be perfect. So oh my. oh my.
You're gonna do what? You're
my.
gonna do what to him? Okay.
And that is going to do it for another episode of The Brass Junkies. You've been listening to The Brass Junkies on the Pedal Note Media Podcast Network. If you would like to hear the bonus episode featuring today's guest, please visit patreon.com/thebrassjunkies to learn how you can support the show and instantly access all bonus materials, as well as gain access to a special patron-only Facebook group. The Brass Junkies is produced by the amazing, wonderful, and truly inspirational Will Houchin. The theme music was composed by Fernando Dados and performed by Andrew Hitz and Lance LaDuke. We are at Pray for Jens on Twitter and Instagram and have a Facebook page at facebook.com/prayforjens. You can find out more about the Brass Junkies and all the other Pedal Note Media podcasts at pedalnotemedia.com. This has been a presentation of the Pedal Note Media Podcast Network.